I'm Jaspriya, and this is my Can I Have It All story. Um, so this is again part of my Can I Have It All sort of story because while my children were growing up and I was handling a very high pressure job because I was handling a couple of very important clients and it required a lot of travel. And that was the time when I thought that, probably things are little out of balance for me, although I had great support system at home. So at that time, family took a priority and I decided that, probably full-time employment is not working out for me. And that is how my journey into being a freelance started. But then that was just a stepping stone. And from there, I started, working on upskilling myself and adding on more competencies, and that was a journey that how Mindscapes came into being about 4 years ago. So I'll tell you what I think is there are certain non-negotiables which are essential for all professionals or people, irrespective of gender. But I think when it comes to women professionals, they probably take on additional meanings. Say, for example, for me, integrity, transparency, and collaboration is really, really important, which I think are important for any professional. But being a woman, what I think is that, as part of my journey, and I've been very fortunate that I've got really very supportive, leaders that I have worked with and organizations that were quite progressive. And so integrity for me was that the privileges or uh, the extras that I was getting, or the understanding that I was getting as a woman employee, I never misused it. For me, to deliver on the deliverables and the goals became extremely important, so that there was no questioning on my work ethics, that just because you're a woman, you're getting certain concessions, and are you misusing those concessions? So integrity was very high for me. Also transparency and collaboration as a woman, because we tend to feel that we have to do everything all at once, the superwoman syndrome, and sometimes it is counterproductive. So being transparent about your challenges and seeking help is very important. I think and that really helped me in my professional journey. And being transparent also helped me find allies and collaborate with people at work and at home, to navigate through that journey. So these three have been the three pillars for me in my professional journey. The means to achieve it are very difficult. It seems like an uphill task, and sometimes it just seems like it is out of reach. But from my personal experience, I think it is possible. And most important thing that you need to keep in mind is you need to learn to say no, and you have to be very clear about setting boundaries, both at professional and personal level. So at home also it's extremely important, because sometimes if your dishes are not done, if your house is not impeccably clean, it's all right, because you know what your priorities are. So work-life balance definitely is possible. For me, to find that balance, most important thing is that every day I take out some time to do nothing at all. That's something that I firmly believe in, that you don't have to be occupied all 24 hours of the day. There has to be some time when you do nothing, just put your feet up, and that's it. So that's really important to recharge your batteries. It's so that's something that I do every day. I take out some time when I'm completely switched off, no phone, nothing, no laptop, no books, no music, nothing, just me and my thoughts. That's it, my corner. Right. So like I mentioned earlier, that I've been very fortunate that I worked with some excellent leaders who were very supportive. And I firmly believe that the organizations may have the best policies which are employee centric, women centric, but if you don't have the people who have the spirit to implement those policies, it's as good as not having any policies at all. There was a phase in my career. When I was expecting my daughter, my second child, I was already, I think, into my first trimester when I changed jobs. So first of all, it's very unheard of. Normally people don't hire women who are already, on family leave, because they know that they're going to go on a maternity leave very soon. So I was hired in spite of the fact, and then I had a difficult pregnancy. So my manager was very understanding and supportive, and so it was a night shift job that I had to was part of my profile, but he put me during a day shift, and also then moved me to a profile where I could work from home. And I'm talking about 2005, where work from home was hardly an option. So especially in our country, flexi timings, and then remote commuting was just not heard of. So I was very fortunate to have a manager like that, and then I continued working there for quite some time, even after my daughter was born. And then, because I was in Hyderabad and my family was in Delhi, so it was very difficult for me to manage two households. So they also went ahead and then found a role for me in Delhi, and then transferred me to Delhi, so that I could be with my family instead of letting me go, because I offered to put in my papers, because I said that's not working out. So this is something which is very important, that and it is a two-way street. It's a give and take, because if you are adding value to the organization will see to it that they don't lose a talent which is working out for them. So I think later in my career also, there were a couple of other instances where there was a challenge where I had to move cities, and my managers had been very, very supportive in terms of finding me an option. So similar kind of situation happened in I think 2011. I was in Delhi and I had to move to Pune because my husband got an opportunity here. And so earlier we decided that I will continue staying in Delhi because that's where my job was. My kids were studying there, but again managing two households was becoming a challenge. So then I started looking for opportunities in Pune, but I spoke to my manager. So he said that we don't have a division in Pune, but we have a division in Mumbai. You work from home, go to Mumbai whenever there's a client meeting. I said, okay, great. So let's see how it works out. So 2011 to 2013, I worked from home 2 years. No COVID, nothing. I used to just travel to Mumbai for client meeting, and I was handling two critical clients, one of the leading telecom companies, and very big business house, in one of the biggest industrial houses in the country.
Wow.
So I managed those two clients working from home. Yeah. So, and surprisingly, both my managers were men. So integrity, transparency, and collaboration does help.
Yeah, I think those
Yeah,
are qualities that transcend gender. And
they do.
those are repeatedly echoed even in the previous conversations that I've had with people, which is just make sure the quality of your work sort of, speaks for itself.
Right. So I have been very fortunate, actually. I mean, I've worked with some really amazing people, be it my colleagues or my, managers. So, when I see this kind of resistance and when I see women struggling, it really, sometimes it comes as a surprise, because my personal experience has been very different. But as I interact with more and more women, I see that, what I experienced was probably an exception to the rule. I was fortunate because not everybody is that fortunate. However, things are changing now, and the experience that I shared with you was about more than a decade ago. So definitely there is a shift, but if it could happen that long back, I'm sure things can happen now as well, and probably they can be more. I think. I can't think of an appropriate word, but I think these should not be exceptional cases. This should be something which should be a given for women, especially women who are so committed to their careers and they're giving you the results. So I think this should not be an exception. So I've already shared two examples with you, and I also mentioned that I decided to have my own milestones and not work on my success or not define my success by what others expected, or what was the given norm at that particular time. And in that particular aspect, I think one of my other managers, I think she set a very good example for me. So she was able to manage work life, I think, in a very remarkable way, because when her children were young, she was able to focus more on her personal life while still working, probably not taking on the kind of high pressure, high stress projects or assignments. And once her children were of a certain age and she had a better support system, she put that support system in place. She made some very smart career moves, and her last position was as COO of one of the learning subsidiaries of one of India's biggest business houses. And now she's traveling the world, and she's a consultant. So the way she planned her career and her career moves, I think that was really impressive, and I learned a lot from her. And she's been a great mentor. So I still call her for advice when I feel stuck at some place. And the two managers that I already talked about, so they set an example of how workplace should be, how you can make people really feel that they belong. And it's not just lip service, that our work family is also like our family. So I think yes, they've been great mentors for me. Sacrifices, I really don't think I had to make too many sacrifices. There was a lot of guilt. I still did what I felt that I had to do, but there was guilt sometimes when it especially came to my children, and I had to travel extensively, leave them behind. They were very small. So but then, like I said, I decided my own path, that this is what I have to do, so this is what I have to do, and I did that. But having said that, yes, the guilt remains, and I think most of working mothers experience the same thing, that if they're not uh, with their children all the time, or they're not able to give them so much of time, they feel guilty, or they feel they're lesser of a mother. But I don't think that really should be something which because it is a joint responsibility, and it is not just a woman's responsibility to be with the children. So I think, like, setting boundaries and setting expectations is very important. But yes, I think so I will not really call them sacrifices, because those were the things that I wanted to do and I did them. But yes, so looking back, no regrets actually.
I'm glad that.
But I'll tell you a very interesting. So I'll tell you a very interesting thing about how I handled guilt. The first time that I had to travel and I had to leave my kids for about a week. So I got them small little gifts, 6 gifts. And I used to tell my husband that every night you tell them that I came back home after they had slept, and I left early in the morning, and this is the gift that I got for them. So that is how I managed. So and then gradually they're talking to kids and then telling them that, okay, this is something that is happening and this is how it is. So that lessened the guilt. But yeah, there are ways that because for your children, it's not really necessary that you're physically present. They need to just have the comfort that you're there for them. And there are different ways of doing that rather than just being physically present 24/7. Actually, a lot of advice, because a lot of learning that has happened over the years. So if I could go back and tell myself that to not do things a certain way or do things a certain way, the first thing that I would tell myself is to begin with clear head. Know where you're going, know your destination, because if you don't know where you're going, you will go nowhere. So that clarity is very important, because once you know that, then everything else will fall in place, because then you will find ways to get there. So destination is extremely important.